What is up, DMV Hoops fans? Welcome into another Believe in DMV Hoops. I'm Matt Moderno. I'm joined here today by Bullis guard Adrien Stevens. Adrien, how you doing? How's your summer? How are things? What's going on with you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just play a little pickleball this morning. I'm taking a little basketball break. I'm getting old and slow, so I'm just enjoying watching guys like you play basketball for a while here and resting up a bit.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Well, thank you for doing this. For anybody who's not familiar with you and where you are in this kind of process here, you're heading into your senior year at Bullis School. You're a top 100 shooting guard in the country. Oh, that's part of what I want to get to is position and things like that. You were a guard of multiple
Yeah.
different qualities and versatility here. So we'll save that for a minute. But four-star guard, you've got 25 plus Division I offers. And you've whittled this down to a final 6 years. So just figured we could talk a little bit about what that recruitment is like and kind of shine some light on that process for people.
It's been great for me. I feel like going into my junior year, of high school, like that summer was really when it really kind of like blew up for me in a way.
Sure.
I was getting a lot of offers at the time, and coaches were really taking notice to my game, and how hard I work, and how I, basically just like play with passion on both sides of the ball. And
Sure.
I feel like that was when things started, really the ball really started rolling for me as far as the recruitment. But before that, I feel like I come from humble beginnings. I didn't really like start with much as far as like college stuff, and even like high school. Like when I was coming out of middle school, I didn't really have many options for high school, and it just worked out with Bullis, and so that's where I'm at now, and it's just been like that for the longest. So yeah.
I love that. You guys have a really good, fun team. I think here of a couple other guys I also think are being a little bit under recruited and are just now starting to get the recognition they deserve as well. So we'll get into that. First, we're brought to you by Stateside Vodka and their Surfside hard iced teas, hard lemonades, hard every flavor you can think of. Adrien is multiple years away from knowing what that's about, but for the older fans listening to this, they're delicious in the summer here. Also brought to you by BetOnline. It's your number one source for all your summer sports, including MLB, golf, UFC, tennis, everything you can think of, all the latest stats, lines, news, scores available for your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and matchup reports, player props, all that good stuff. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get it on the action. Bet online, where the game starts. Okay, so I just first of all, honestly, congratulations. You just talked about like getting a little more recognition for the way you play. I think you play the right way, and it's nice to see people recognize that your game is not always about like, can I put up 25 on people? It's you guard people, you create for people, you rebound well for your position. I think too, like, I think that's the kind of player that smart teams value. So when you look at this list, a lot of good coaches on here. So I was glad to see that they're kind of recognizing you for that.
Yes, sir. Like I feel like going into each game, like I'm thinking to myself, how can I, impact winning today? Like how can I make winning plays? And those things you just said all go into winning in a high level way. And if you can do those things at a high level, you're gonna win. And that's what I want to do. I want to win at the highest level. So that's just the way I'm thinking.
So I mentioned the positional thing here a minute ago. Some places say point guard, some places say shooting guard, some places say combo guard. I think it's a credit to you that you can fit in any of those categories here. But how do you think of your game? And I guess can you describe your game for anyone listening to this who hasn't seen you play before?
I think, well, first of all, the position thing, I think versatility is really important. The more versatile you are, the more you can play, really. I feel like I can guard 1 through 4, switch 1 through 4, and just be a physical defender in all aspects. And then on offense, I really just, try to focus on making the best play all the time, making the right play, making the smart play. And, I feel like basketball's moving towards sort of this like positionless thing. Yeah. And, like point guard, shooting guard, combo guard, like they're all really the same thing. If you can play the guard position, you can play the guard position, and it really doesn't matter that title. So I look at myself as like, I guess you could say a combo guard. Like I can play both on offense, or I could play the 3. Whatever a team needs. I just, like I said, I just want to make winning plays, and whatever position I'm in to make those winning plays. That's what it is. But as far as my game, I feel like I really focus on defense, and I feel like my defense creates for my offense. And I really get fired up on defense, and it helps me, get into this mode of like, just really energetic plays. I feel like when my team needs something from me, I feel like my bread and butter is trying to get to the paint and play off 2 feet, and draw fouls, or just get to the line, trying to get things rolling a little bit in that sense. I feel like if I can't get all the way to the paint, I can pull up in the mid range, I can definitely hit, spot up threes and whatnot. I feel like I'm trying to move towards that all around game where,
Mhm.
it's just hard to kind of take me off the floor because I can do anything. That's where I'm trying to get to. So yeah.
That's smart, and I mentioned the list here. We'll just say it up front, and then we'll get into it in more detail. But your final six, you're down to Tennessee, Marquette, Villanova, Georgetown, Florida State, and Notre Dame. And Notre Dame, and those are a lot of teams that I think one pride themselves on the defensive end to some degree, to varying degrees. Some more, a little bit more than others, but those are all good defensive-minded coaches too. But they also kind of value turning defense into offense. And you just mentioned doing that in your game. Somewhere like Marquette, they want to play fast. Villanova is another team that they're going to play good defense, but they're going to get out. They're going to run on you, but then they're going to be, smart and structured on offense as well
Right.
too. And I think those all sound like really good fits for you and your game here too. You mentioned kind of um, it's a modern style of play, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember when like combo guard was like kind of a bad word. You're like
Yeah.
not really either, but I think we're in an era of basketball where like that's a good thing. Being able to
Uh-huh.
do both makes you easier to keep on the floor and play next to other guys. And these smart schools and these smart coaches, it's makes sense that they're valuing that because you can kind of fit in interchangeably with anybody they want to run out there with you.
Right. And that's the most important thing, as a player, you want to play and, just trying to do the things
Yeah.
when you know that, like, when you know the things that can help you get on the floor, why would you not try to,
Yep.
take advantage of those things? And so that's what I'm looking at.
Uh, 247 just stole a little quote for them. Stevens is an athletic, physical guard who has excellent instinct and feel on both ends, can score attacking the rack, knocking down shots, and is a tough, committed defender. I think that's everything we just talked about there. Is there anything you're looking to like add to your game between now and getting to college next summer? Is there something coaches have identified for you maybe, or feedback you've gotten that you're trying to like incorporate here between now and the start of the season?
I feel like just like kind of like adding a maturity to my game, just playing with more pace, I'd say.
Okay.
Just knowing when to go look for mine and then when to, like look for my teammates.
Mhm.
I think one thing for me that I can really work on for Bullis this year. We had a point guard last year. His name was Tyler Boston, and he's
Mhm.
at Holy Cross now. And he was one of the best point guards in the area. And I found myself like getting my own shot from him a lot. And
Sure.
with him gone this year, I feel like we have a great point guard now in Darren Moore,
Mhm.
and great guard and like Angelo Dickerson.
Mhm.
But I feel like now I'm gonna have to, kind of help out in that role
Sure.
that we're missing. So just trying to get others involved, really work on my passing, really work on just trying to get others involved and make my team win. And then I'd say also just yeah, just making the right decision, just making the right play every time, and and then also going to the next level. Defense is going to be a big thing. I feel like for incoming freshmen in the college level, the biggest jump that they have to make is on defense. And
Yep.
if you play defense, like I said, you can get in the game, and
Yep.
that's what I want. So just trying to really work on defense. Like this year, I was thinking about it. I'm taking a challenge upon myself, guard the best player every game, trying to really get after it and practice with the guys that we have. Just really just trying to prepare myself for that next level. And by doing that, I can, give myself the best chance of, playing right away. And so, that's what I'm looking at.
You mentioned here not being this guy. You weren't, hey, I'm a 5-star recruit from age 8 all the way through. Like you've had to come up and work your way up and show that you can hang with all these other guys in the area. And there's a lot of good opportunities to do that. Is
Mhm.
there something that you've added in the last year or two that wasn't a part of your game early on that you think has kind of helped you, get to this point or get to this level where, hey, these like blue blood esque teams are recruiting you here?
I'd say my intensity, like just the intensity that I play with. I've always loved basketball. That's never been a question for me. But I feel like just taking it to like this next level of like you can really see it when I play.
Mhm.
I want to make the ball handler uncomfortable. Like that makes
Yeah,
me excited. Just
that's cool.
seeing the ball handler uncomfortable. Knowing I could
Mhm.
potentially take the ball and go on a fast break, give my teammates an open layup, or try to get a dunk or something like that. But that's what I think really helped me out as far as, just like getting to that next level of
Mhm.
recognition from other people. It's just like I just want to win so bad that, I'll do anything, whatever it takes. And, so that's what I feel like helped me out.
Is anybody you watch or study or want to model your game after, or like, hey, this is my basketball role model that like I'd like to be that kind of guy down the road here.
I definitely think I think I pick from multiple guys.
Mhm.
I feel like you can look at like guys like Luca and like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and like there's a bunch of guys in the NBA that are just great scorers and they
Sure.
get to their spots and stuff like that. And I can really look at their game as far as that and try to incorporate some of the things that they do and work on that.
Mhm.
But I think as far as like the best player to watch for me and where I want to be and stuff of that nature is Drew Holiday. I really
I was gonna guess that, to be honest with you, because that makes so much sense.
yeah.
Similar frame, similar defensive profile too, and you can both score it, create a little. That's
Right.
smart.
Yeah, I feel like he just does a little bit of everything, and whatever his team needs him to do, he's gonna do.
Mhm.
Like I saw this thing where like he was, like he's a quote unquote point. Like we're talking about positions basketball, he's a quote unquote point guard, but he's in the dunker spot and setting screens for Jason Tatum in the NBA Finals and like stuff like that, where it's like he's like it's bigger than him, and he knows that, whatever it takes to win, he's gonna do. And I feel like I can take those things from his game and incorporate them into mine. Just guarding the best player every time. Whenever your team needs a stop, you're the one that's going to get it. Scoring when you need to. He can score. He's
Mhm.
an NBA player. He's a top level guard in the NBA. He can. I'm like there's workout videos. He could just score 20 times in a row
Yeah.
on whoever really. Um,
Mhm.
but in the game, it's not like he's like off the dribble trying to shoot threes in people's faces. Like he can make those shots, but like that's not like the most efficient way that he gets to it. And I feel like that's where I can take from his game and put it into mine.
That's a great mature answer, and I think college coaches are gonna love to hear that too, because that's obviously a winning basketball player, and it makes sense. So sometimes you hear guys give their comps, and it's like everybody wants to be KD or Kyrie or something, and it's just like having a guy that can impact both sides of the ball is just smart, and he makes sense for you from like a frame perspective too. Like it's easy to visualize you kind of playing a similar role on a team. In the chat here, S. Smith asked, "Did you start out as a post player, or were you always a guard? And when you think about your game, and when do you think your game took its biggest jump?"
I feel like I wasn't always like a guard.
Mhm.
That's for sure. I don't know about post play. I mean, I guess when I was younger, because I was like taller than everybody else.
Sure.
But when basketball really started, like getting serious, I was never really like a post player.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like my game took the biggest jump last summer. Like I said, like just really focusing on the things that like will help me at the next level. There's a bunch of guys that can score. There's a bunch of guys that can get their own and stuff like that. And when you're going to the next level, like most likely than not, like you're going into a situation where you're not going to be that guy when you first get there.
Yep.
And you can control things like playing defense and playing with energy, and just helping your team make winning plays. And that's what I tried to focus on, and that's why I feel like I took the biggest jump, noticing that I don't have to try to score 20 25 points a game to be this like highly regarded player. It's nice to do that, but it's in reality, like I said, at the next level, when you go into a situation, most likely than not, you're not going to be that guy when you first get there. So just
Sure.
trying to impact winning will help me, and that's what I did. So.
It's nice to be able to do that, right? Like if your team needs you to be able to go and get really hot and put the team on your back offensively, that's awesome if you
Yeah.
can. It's
Yeah.
when that's all you can do. I think that's when things get a little tough here.
Yeah, you get a limit to exactly.
Yep. All right, final six: Tennessee, Marquette, Villanova, Georgetown, Florida State, Notre Dame. There's some common threads there, I think, in terms of style of play too, but there's also some differences. You think about a Notre Dame and a Micah Shrewsbury runs like a really sophisticated offense, and they play great ways and play a great way on offense. But then you've got a Tennessee team that's kind of really like get after you defensively, maybe play a little slower than the rest of this group. They're a little more methodical offensively. So, some similarities between some of these teams, but some differences here too. I guess from a basketball perspective, was there a certain thing that you were looking for that most of these teams share? And we can get to the off court and relationship stuff in a minute, but just from a basketball standpoint, like what was most important to you?
I just think like the place that like fits me the best. I try to mold myself into a player where I can fit anywhere the best. And
Sure.
I feel like but like when looking at colleges, you have to look at what fits you the best.
Mhm.
And I feel like those 6 schools were like best fit as far as I can get after it on defense and just fit in anywhere on the offensive end really. Just and I feel like the message that they were relaying to me, as far as where I'd fit, is pretty much the same. Trying to be a combo guard that can score and facilitate, get their teammates involved, and just make winning plays everywhere. So yeah, that's why I feel like the common theme was just trying to be a guy that can fit in anywhere,
Mhm.
versatile.
Uh, the relationship portion of this is obviously huge. You've got to be comfortable with these people. You got to trust that what they're telling you, you can take at face value here. Was there something that all these coaches or all these staffs kind of shared, that like a thing you were looking for from the relationship or just the vibe with them, that you were kind of prioritizing during the process?
I feel like for me, when recruitment first started, I was very caught up in, I feel like I want to go. We're not even when it started. I feel like I'm still there now, but I want to go somewhere where I'm wanted, and
Mhm.
I made that like known as far as the schools that were recruiting me. If I am going to consider a school, I really want to feel like I'm wanted there, because that investment isn't gonna like when they recruit you, they're investing in you and stuff like that. And then when you get there, it's not like it's just gonna stop,
Mhm.
and especially with those schools that are really, really, there for you all the time. And, they really want you. They're gonna show it, and that's it's not gonna stop when you get there. So just I feel like what was really important to me was looking for schools that were really invested in me. Took the time to recruit me. Know my family, my life really. Outside of a
Mhm.
basketball player, like know who I am. And so that's why I feel like the common theme was for me, just trying to look for schools that really cared about me as a person. And so yeah.
You hear a lot of times like, "Oh, this coach or this staff, they text me every single day," and I wonder like how important that like daily communication is at the end of the day, whereas like versus just, "Hey, I might only hear from this coach every couple days, but we have like a real meaningful conversation
Mhm.
when he actually does check in, as opposed to just like a
Right.
spam text or something every kind of day."
Right.
What's how does that work? I guess for how did that work for you?
I feel like that's really interesting, especially like, like I remember last year, I know all the DMV guys that play basketball and
Sure.
stuff like that. There's a lot of good players in the area. So, they're
Hmm.
being recruited highly by, high level programs. And sometimes it'd be like, like we'd all be together and like this coach would text me and be like, oh, like you just got a text, and like, everyone would be like, oh, I just got the same text, so like
Oh yeah.
stuff like that
Mhm.
would happen. But it's interesting thinking about like what really matters as far as like having a more meaningful conversation every couple of days rather than just getting a checking in, how are you
Mhm.
text every day. I think both are important, but I feel like um for me it was like looking at the meaningful conversations rather than just checking in, because the schools that are just checking in, they're checking in, but like it's not the same as
Yeah.
having a meaningful conversation about your fit at X school, or a
Mhm.
meaningful conversation about how you can improve on X, Y, and Z at whatever. So I
Sure.
feel like they're two different things, and it depends on what kind of person you are, that that how valuable those things are to you.
Yeah, that's great perspective, and yeah, I think you can tell when someone's being authentic with a message too, and it's not just a copy and paste. And
Yeah.
I don't know if those coaches know that, but I would think that they're doing themselves a disservice, just on all. I'm not saying you
Yeah.
specifically, but just it. I think that's fascinating for people, right? That we're not getting these texts, so we don't know. We just hear a player X ended up at school Y.
Uh-huh.
So going in, what goes into that process is, I think, really interesting here. Another one you hear about a lot is just oh, was the head coach at my game or at all of my games? I guess how important is that kind of stuff, or was it for you of just just making sure that they or they make sure that they kind of show some face time and that they're checking you out and making sure that they're continuing to watch your game and see how you're doing and stuff like that.
I feel like the coach's investment is a direct reflect their investment now is a direct reflection of what their investment will be later on in your career. So if
Mhm.
if you choose to go to X school, if they're recruiting you, if they're at every single high school game, they can be,
Yeah.
things like that. Those things are gonna it's not just going to change when you go to that school. They've shown that they're investing in you. They've shown that they believe in you, and those actions speak louder than any words anyone can say. So I feel like that's definitely important. The head coach at some point in your recruitment, you have to look at it like, if the head coach isn't talking to me at least X amount of times a week, or isn't showing his face at these games that he should be at, those are things you just have to be like, okay, this school really isn't prioritizing me. Because the truth is, the head coach can only be one place at one time. There's so many events going on across the country, so many good players, and like, if a school is really just locked in on you, like they'll show it, and and this way that they show it is the head coach being there for you, the head coach talking to you all the time, the head coach, like, your best relationship on the staff isn't with the assistant coach, it's with the head coach. And like, when picking a school, that's really important, because like, the head coach is going to be the one that puts you in the game. The head coach is going to be the one that just really dictates how your career goes, kind of, in a way. So yeah.
I think especially at some of these higher end Power 5 schools too, like, there's a very large chance that a lot of these top assistants move on to other jobs before you finished your time there, and the head coach is the guy that's most likely to be there that full duration. So I think that's, you get, at some level, you have to have some kind of relationship with the top guy there too, and having one with an assistant coach is great, but it may not be kind of the longer term piece of it. So I think that's a mature way to look at it from your perspective too.
Right, exactly. I mean, I agree, and that's another thing, like, just keeping those relationships with those assistant coaches, like, like, even when, you're not going to X school, like, making those calls and being like, I really appreciate you recruiting me, but, I'm going to look another direction. I feel like that's really important, because you never know where other people are going to end up. You never know where you're going to end up. So, just trying to, not burn those bridges when you make that decision. So.
One of the main reasons I wanted to do this is because I've heard other, conversations you've had, or quotes after games and stuff, and you come off as incredibly mature for your age. So first of all, kudos to you. But this is a tough process, and you're not going through it alone. So shout out to whoever is helping you through this. And anybody on the home front that you want to give a little shout out here too, that's been particularly helpful as you go through this.
I really thankful to my family. I feel like they've guided me a lot. But that guidance isn't just limited to them. Like, my high school coaches, my head coach, Bruce Kelly, he's been great for me. He's given me a lot of advice on things. And, I feel like we have a really good relationship, and we can talk about anything, really. So, I feel like that's really important to me. Some of the assistant coaches that are there now, like, Nick Spartino, Glenn Stokes, Coach Stefano, he coached at St. John's for a while. So, me and him, he's like a, I don't know. He's a guy, he's
sure.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And, just looking for guidance from those guys, from Bullis. Even like my main trainer, like Darren McClinton, he's given me a lot of pointers on stuff. He's really helped me mature my game to where it is now. Just sitting down and, trying to watch film with him, and, trying to get things, really just like level it out, trying to make sure things are straight in that sense. So, them, my AAU family, we are one. I've played with them since I was in 8th grade on the Under Armour circuit, and, they've taken really good care of me. They've showcased me at a high level. They believed in me since day one, and, just those guys. I mean, all the coaches there, they've really helped me out in this process. So yeah, I mean, and there's other people that I'm probably forgetting, but there's just so many people that I feel like are in my corner and want to see me win, and I feel like that's very important. So just thank you to all those people.
I'm glad you went through that full list there, because, or not full, but I mean, like, a thorough list there, because it takes a lot of input, and you mentioned your high school coaches there. These are guys putting out other prospects here at a high level too, so they hear things. They've got a track record doing this, similar on the AAU side. That's a well-respected program as well. So I think these guys have a track record of steering people in the right direction here. But it's also your teammates. You've got a couple of really high-profile teammates here that are going through the process here as well. I guess, how much do you guys kind of rely on each other, or compare notes and things like that as you go through it?
I feel like teammates, those are the most important people to me. That's like my family. We're going to war with each other. We've cried after games together. We've we've gone through a lot together, and those are like my brothers, and I feel like it really bounced off each other. The craziest thing for me was like when I was before I was being highly recruited. We had a kid on our team last year, Caden Diggs. He's at ODU now, and before I was being highly recruited, we had these like open gyms, like when college coaches can come watch and stuff like that. And I was like taking advantage of those opportunities because he was being highly recruited at the time and I wasn't. And I
Right.
was, trying to go after him all the time, because all the college coaches were there to see him. But I was trying to go after him all the time, and that really helped me out. That really helped him grow as a player. That really helped me with my recruitment. And so, like just like things like that, where it's like we help each other get better, and we want to see each other win at the highest level. And it's just like, it's just great having a family like that, that just wants success for one another. So yeah.
That's awesome, and I think that's another nice thing about being in this DMV area is that, one, you have high profile teammates like that, but you also have competitors too, and one
Yeah.
end it's probably exhausting because there's never a night off, but
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
hey, every night is another opportunity to go out and show like, hey, there's another set of coaches coming in, another high profile, opponent or whatever. And I don't know. I bet it's exhausting by the end of the season though.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it really never ends. You can't really take a night off. Like you play against Sidwell. Like what happened to us last year? Like, we
Mhm.
played against Jackson Reed, a bunch of high level guys that, really get after it. We lost that game. But you can't dwell on it. You turn around, you have to play a Caden Lewis and Caleb Williams at Sidwell the next day. So
Yeah.
it's like things like that. It just gives me goosebumps now thinking about it. It's
Mhm.
just such a high level, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I have the opportunity to be in that environment. And like I said, it's really helped me grow as a person, as a player. And I feel like that'll help me at the next level because there's no nights off in college either. So
Yeah.
just that's really that's really exciting. Just even thinking about it.
I think here too, you can't dwell on a loss too much either, right? Like you said, you have to be ready to go the next night, and that's a big takeaway for a college team, especially when you get to tournament time and things like that. Like it's if you lose a conference tournament, doesn't matter. You got to shrug it off. NCAA's are coming up, all those kinds of things. So it's you got to bounce back quickly, and I think that's one of the things that this area prepares people for is when you get to college, the guys you're playing against will not be the best players you've ever played against, most likely. So
Exactly.
that's a nice leg up.
Yeah, no, and I'll go deeper into that story with the Jackson Reed thing.
Mhm.
It was definitely one of the toughest games of the season. It went into overtime. I
Yeah.
remember like at the end of the fourth quarter, I took a shot to like win the game and I missed it. And we ended up losing the game on like a game winning shot on from their end.
Mhm.
It was tough, it was really tough losing that game. But, like we knew in our head the next day we have another opportunity
Yep.
to, get a high profile win. And, we went in there, we at halftime we were probably down like 20, 20,
Mhm.
25. And we ended up winning that game. So, it's just like
Huge.
things like that where like you can look back on those things and be like, I've done this before, and I can do it again at high level. So it just it's really special being in the DMV and playing against those high level players every night.
And you can learn a lot from a tough loss like that too, that helps you win the next game too. So I
Yeah,
think that's pretty cool.
exactly.
Just want to read a quote of yours that I thought was really good. I'm looking for a program where the coaching staff believes in me and will give me an opportunity. That's like we've talked about so far. But you also said I want a good school with a good network that'll help me after basketball. I think that's another really smart long-term perspective to have too. And I don't know that everybody kind of thinks of it that way, but like at some point the ball will stop bouncing and
Mm.
you got to be prepared for that. And I think you have a really good list of academic schools here as well too. So I think that's really good to see. But they're schools you think of with an active fan base, an active community around them. They care about their student athletes and things like that too. And there are a lot of programs where I think there are former players on staffs and things like that too. And it seems like they kind of take care of their own. So I think that's I was glad to read that from you.
Yeah, yes, sir. I feel like you have to look at it that way. You can't look
Yeah.
at it from like only like you said, at one point, some point in your career, it's not gonna last forever. And just setting yourself up for the best opportunity to be successful once the ball stops bouncing is really important. So yeah.
uh, Not to rush you into a decision or anything like that, but I think you said you're looking to make one, sometime by the end of the summer here, give or take. Is that just so you don't have to worry about that kind of going into next year's college season? Is that a factor, or are you're kind of ready and you kind of got a direction in mind here? I guess what's
Yeah.
the timing component, I guess?
The timing, I feel like it's just what works for me. It's definitely you know a plus to go into the season just focusing on the team that you have, just trying to win those games. But that wasn't the true, like the like the 100% deciding factor of
Mhm.
when I make my decision. I feel like at a point you know when you're ready, when things feel right. And I think hopefully at the end of this month, or at the end of next month, I mean at like
Mhm.
towards the end of August, I'll be able to just really focus on what I'm ready to do. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was the thinking behind that.
Gonna sneak in a couple more visits between now and then, or you kind of tired of traveling here for the summer?
I'm definitely planning on it. I don't have anything set in stone right now, but definitely trying to get those things worked out, and hopefully I can take a couple more before I make my decision.
We talked about Bullis overall. We talked about a couple of your teammates here, but I think you guys are poised for a big year here overall. I'm guessing you guys kind of feel the same way. I guess what's the goal for the season? Any expectations? How are you feeling about this upcoming year?
I think we have to get first of all we have to get a lot better. We just and I know it's going to happen with the way that Coach Kelly runs his practices.
Mhm.
They're relenting, honestly, but yeah, so I definitely feel like we have to get a lot better. I think the biggest goal for us would just be to just focus on one game at a time. It's easy to look at, oh, like we have this big game on this date. We want to play Georgetown prep on this date. Like I can't wait for that. But I feel like
Mhm.
there's games in between those games where it's going to be like we have to focus on right now. And I feel like that's going to be big for us. Just trying to stay poised and just trying to stay focused. I know we're going to play a lot of good teams this year, so just trying to take it one game at a time and try to win at the highest level. So yeah,
I like it.
trying to.
Let's just wrap up with a couple rapid fires here. These are just kind of lighter questions for people to get to know you kind of off the court here a little bit more. Is there one thing that people might not know about you that you're willing to share with us, whether it's a guilty pleasure TV show or music or hidden talent or any of that kind of stuff?
I love to play golf actually.
Okay, that's
I've,
cool.
I've, I'm trying. I've been trying to get into it. Like I've been playing for like probably like a year and a half now.
Mhm.
I'm actually about to go play after this.
Nice.
But it's been really good for me. I feel like it's a way to get away from basketball and still compete at a high level without taxing on the body. So I really like to do that. I like nature a lot. I
Okay.
like going out and seeing like nice places. I like the water and stuff like that. Um, yeah, those are probably two things. I'd say the last thing probably like I was actually born in Kentucky, and I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
a lot of people don't know that about me. So
We're still counting you as a DMV guy through and
yeah,
through,
yeah,
though. So
for sure, for sure.
the golf school one, I do not have the patience for that as a sport myself. So kudos to you that at a young age you can already kind of see the importance of that, because I think it is like a great networking game,
Oh
and
yeah,
there's a lot of hoopers that golf now too. So I think
yeah, for sure.
it's a good trend to follow.
Yeah, and you can play it for as long as you can walk, really. So
Yeah,
it's that ball really doesn't stop bouncing on that one for a
exactly.
while. So yeah.
Uh, okay. Who's one person you think we should talk to next on the show here? Any other DMV guys that you think would be worth chatting with?
Uh, I think Caden Lewis.
Okay.
You think you should go talk to him? He's a good guy. He's a guy.
Uh, he's a fun player to watch as well, and he's another guy that I'm glad to see getting the recognition for
Yeah.
that he is over the last couple months here, especially.
No, I have a lot of respect for him. He's a good player. We're pretty close. So I think yeah, he's a good dude.
Love that. Uh, Anything else that we haven't talked about here? Anything you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out before we wrap up?
Nah, I don't think I have anyone to shout out. No, I feel like we really covered a lot of the things, a lot of people that I appreciate, and I just feel like I'm thankful for this opportunity to be here, and it was great.
Last one. This is always important for people. We want them to follow along with you and your journey and all this good stuff. So, can you give us the social media handles for folks?
My Instagram is Adrien Stevens. It's just Adrien Stevens, and my Twitter is Adrien Stevens 3, and I think those are the only two, right? Like just
Okay.
Instagram and Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
those are the big ones, I think.
yeah, those are the big ones. So yeah, just those two, and then just yeah, those two.
Awesome. Adrien, like I said, I'm a big fan of you and your game, and even more so of you as a person after talking to you here. Incredibly mature. You're a great representative of the DMV, and I look forward to following you guys along the way. And I definitely want to make it out to a couple Bullis games this year too. So
Yes, sir. Please do come check us out. Come check us out.
I love that. Best of luck this summer. Get a little rest in here if you can, and go kick some butt this summer. And good luck with the rest of the recruitment.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the little like button for us. We can always take another a nice review from folks on iTunes. That's always great. Rate, review, subscribe. It's important. We're presented by betonline.ag, and we will catch you all next time.